Oh shit. Morning everybody. How you all doing? I'm like, oh snap, right? I didn't blur the background. Um, so we're gonna go into this week like we do most weeks, talking that good junk. But we also are going to have an opportunity to say happy birthday to Thomas Berry. It is his birthday today. He is a Valentine's Day baby. So we'll get an opportunity to pump him up. My cousin's birthday today. Shouts out, cuz I hit you up on Facebook already. I won't call you later. I'll call your husband, my other cuz, and we'll gang up on you, sing the happy birthday song and all that jazz, black version. So you know that you are definitely loved. I appreciate you very very much. Um, but where do we start? So I'm gonna start here. I'm in the grocery store yesterday. I was hoping Rashi was going to be on because I really wanted her to feel this. I'm in the grocery store yesterday, and there's this guy in there with his children, and he comes in, and the little boy, he has a preteen, probably, maybe actually a teen, and he has a younger kid. Young kid, definitely a toddler, definitely a toddler. So he has a box of juice in his hand. So they're at the again. I'm checking out. They're right behind me, and the little boy goes, "Daddy, juice, juice," and Dad goes, "Well, I have juice for you, bud." And his older brother goes, "Yeah, man, Dad got a whole thing of juice for you." The little boy is persistent, juice, juice, juice. So the older brother guesses, "No, Dad has a whole box of juice for you." Little boy, juice, juice, juice. Dad goes, "All right, you want that one?" So he grabs it. I know, right, Thomas? I'm getting there.
Oh no, you
And
fine.
I'm standing there like, this why them kids fucked up. First off, you going to the store with your mama or your daddy, you don't get to pick and choose what the hell you want. You get to pick and choose what the hell they gonna give you. Let's be clear about that. So that's thing number one.
Mm-hmm.
Thing number two, I kind of sort of in a way would expect this more from dad, from mom than dad. When the hell dudes start caving into their children? That's that's violation. Like all kinds of violations. Thing number three, the teen, preteen, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This has to build animosity in him right now. He is looking at that like, yo, this is why I want to get away from y'all. Ain't no fucking way I'm gonna put up with this crap, and I shouldn't have to put up with this crap. I'm trying to bounce. This is why I believe, small sample size, but true, in my head, in my opinion. We got so many fucked up people out here. Told y'all before, y'all need to make these kids early and close to one another. So by the time your ass is in your 40s or your 50s, them kids is grown or damn near grown. So you ain't got them problems. You ain't got the see, dad was older now. Again, he has a preteen teen, and then he got a fucking toddler. Dad ain't got time for that. No, he like just give him what he wants. Shut him up. I don't even want to deal with him. You know what I mean? When you
Right.
young, you got that strength. You got that energy. They try to whoop whoop, you get whoop. You know what I mean? When you older, you like, man, just go on. Just I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear from your mama. I damn sure don't want to hear from you. Just take what you want. Just go. Just go. Just go. And you got a little more money now. See, when you're younger, you're struggling. So the kids really can't get because you really ain't got. When you get older, you tend to have a little more scribbles in your pockets. So, you're just like, hey, yeah, funk it, funk it, funk it. Look, there's a difference between my oldest and my youngest. Yes, they're 5 years apart, but there's a difference. The oldest, there were times when dad didn't have it like that. Times. Not often, but every now and again, I was a little strapped. That youngest one, shit. That boy, the only reason he ever heard no is because he didn't earn it. It wasn't because I didn't have it. There's a huge freaking difference. Huge freaking difference. I say that to say, Yesterday, Thomas Berry, he's right there, so I don't gotta talk to him because he right there. We can talk to him. He calls me. We chatting it up, and he talks about his son buying a new car. He said, "Man, and this proud daddy moment. It's a proud daddy moment. He was happy. He
Oh
said,
yeah.
man, my son went out here, dog. He been grinding. He put it in. He said, you know what? I want a little something, something. He went out here and he copped that. He got that. Proud daddy moment. That's a proud papa moment. All on his own. Didn't need no help, no assistance. My man went out here on the dotted line. That's all him. You know what I mean? That's a good look. That's a freaking good look. That's a very proud feeling. That is one of those things where salute to you too, brother Marlon. That's one of those things where it really warms the daggone heart. And in this midst of winter, in this midst of chaos that we got going on, we need all those stories. We need all those stories because on the other side, it's Valentine's Day. This is not a good day to be a single man. Actually, back off of that. This ain't day to be a man at all. This we broke. Eh, Valentine's Day, close to the beginning of the month. It's directly in the middle sandwich. It's the sandwich middle. 2 weeks removed from the month that is in. 2 weeks near the new month is coming. Your ass is gone broke paying all the bills at the beginning of the month because we know them bills in America are done on the first, no later than the fifth for most people. Then you got to turn around and put up with this crap. Now you got to go out here and lose your everlasting freaking mind to give something to make her feel special. Well, him if you into that, whatever. Then you got to turn right back around, build your chips back up in order to pay all the bills again in the next day. It's not a win, and this is what we get.
Mm.
Exactly. That's the hell we get. Nothing. We don't get nothing. Okay, you may get a thank you. You may get a thank you. You know, you may get a little something, a little something special. You know, you might get, but I'm just saying, for the most part, we get nothing. Nothing. That's what you supposed to do. Some bullshit. I'm supposed to be able to live after this day. I mean, you news for the next week and a half. Bullshit. You know what I mean? Happy birthday, Thomas Berry. What's going on with you, my brother?
Oh man, I'm up tired, but I'm taking this day as a rest day. I'm gonna be a commoner day. No work, no nothing, just breathing. But
How many
yeah,
more you got in 40?
huh?
How many more you got in 40?
One more.
This your last 40 something, or
Yeah, this is my
this your
last
last
40.
one?
It's the last one. Like another year, I'll be at the half century mark,
Okay,
man. So hey, thanks, Marlon,
okay,
man.
that's what's
So
up,
yeah,
bro.
so yeah, your
We got to do
sister.
something next year.
Oh yeah, I plan
We got
on
to do something next year.
yeah, I plan on doing something crazy next year for my 50th. Because I don't party
Okay,
much. I don't
okay.
party much, but I plan on. So like when I used to party, I used to overdo it. So for my 50th birthday, I'm gonna go.
I understand that.
I'm gonna go crazy with it. What
I
I mean,
understand that for
like,
real.
if you ever came to like one of my parties back at my spot when I stayed in Brooklyn Park, you know, especially if you came to my bachelor party, it was crazy. So I'm just saying, when I throw a party, like when I throw a party, I throw a party.
Okay, okay. Now, here's the question: are you going to do it there, or are you going to do it someplace else?
That's a good question. That's our brother Marlon said, take a trip for your
Because
50th.
it's going to be cold as hell up there.
So what I plan on doing is I'm gonna do two things. I think I'm probably gonna that's a good question, man. But I've been in the Midwest my whole entire life. And today, honestly, Lee, it's 40 degrees. It's like this is like one of the best
Ooh,
weathered birthdays that I've had in a minute. right? The snow is melting out there right now, you know. So I don't
Okay.
know, man. I don't know what I'm gonna do as far as where it's gonna be, but I know I'm gonna throw a party, and then I'm gonna take a trip after I throw the party. Marlon, my goal is to go to Egypt. So if I can go to Egypt,
Okay.
after 50th for a thing for myself, just go to Egypt. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go to Egypt, man, and try to go and get at least a weekend inside of Cairo. I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to go see what it's like, and whatever the case may be, get the feel for it. So I think I'm gonna do Egypt. If I don't do Egypt, it'll be somewhere else that they got some dope ruins. But I just like just some historical, something that I could do some research on, something that I could open my brain up and just have a good time and just nerd out while I'm there. You know.
If you do Egypt, I'll go to Egypt with you.
I already bet. Well, let's make that work. Marla said 40 degrees is
Yeah,
like summer for
I'll
y'all.
do
It is like summer for us. Get the
it.
sunscreen.
Yeah, he like, yeah, Marlon. He like, it's 40 degrees. I'm like, ooh, dog, it's gonna be
40,
damn near 80 down here today. You talking about 40
40, man.
degrees. But I respected it. Everything is relative, right? Everything is relative.
Heck,
So
yeah.
to move on, again, wanted to shout you out because it is a blessing to rotate around the sun one more time. I wanted to get
Hey,
that lesson in about the father.
can I do one more thing before we do? Because it's my birthday, but also my cousin who passed away.
Yes,
We share identical birthdays. My cousin Calvin Darnell Rogers. So I just want to give a heavenly happy birthday to him because my entire life we've shared the same birthday. I'm just a couple hours older than him. And so rest in peace to him. He passed away tragically 2 years ago. And so I know my Aunt Juanita in Milwaukee, his siblings, my Uncle B, and the rest of the family, while it is my birthday, it's also his birthday. And it's kind of bittersweet because it's somebody that I'm used to exchanging phone calls to, celebrating with each other as kids and the whole nine, from birth. Like we've done this from birth. And so heavenly happy birthday to my cousin Darnell. I just had to throw that in there, man, because that's my guy, man, and I miss that dude for sure.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Respect that. Respect that. To speak to that, called a childhood friend last night. I'm riding and I passed this baseball field, and I was like, we have a tradition in the hood that I grew up in. Thanksgiving, we all get together to play football on the field.
Hmm.
And I'm as I'm riding past this baseball field last night, I was like, has anyone ever named the damn field? Like, he knows where it's at, but I don't know this actual name to it. Now it's on the backside of two schools. 180 to Tech, which when I was coming up was a middle school. Well, it was junior high school, then it turned into a middle school because Baltimore changed that whole thingy around, whatever. And then 163, which is elementary school. So, yeah, I want to say it's 163, elementary school. Anyhow, but so again, it was on the backside of both of those.
Hmm.
So it was like a common field for either one of those, but it never really like had a name. It was just a field. It was maintained. It was always cut. It was the whole nine. But again, it was just a field. So another one of our friends who has really changed his life and doing some great freaking work. I mean, great freaking work. In my head, as I'm riding passing this one yesterday, I was like, you know what? It would actually be nice if we named that joint and named it after him. So I
Mm.
called my man. We talked, and he was like, "Oh, real spit. All that shit been bought up." I said, "What?" He said, "Yo, they closed the schools down. They sold the property the schools are on. They sold the property that the field is on." Now, there's a little back history here, right?
Mm.
So the community I grew up in is called Cherry Hill in Baltimore. Now, that community used to actually be a part of Anne Arundel County.
Okay.
For whatever reason, it was sold off to Baltimore City.
Okay.
As of recent, though, Anne Arundel County wants it back. But the city, like, nope, because it's waterfront property.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Real talk. It's waterfront property. It's 10, maybe 15 minutes away from the airport. And it's around the same from downtown Baltimore, where the Ravens play and the Orioles play. That's prime freaking real estate. And the city is not trying to give it up because they know they're going to get a boatload of taxes
Mm.
from whomever or whatever decides to settle in the area, right? Let's fast forward. So when I heard about that, and he says, yo, the same dude that developed over there where Under Armour was is the dude that bought up this over here. I said, oh, well, you know what that means. So many, many moons ago, the plan was to kick out all of the residents from the housing projects to build homes in that area.
Right.
Well, they started. There's one block of homes that were actually built,
Mm.
and they got them done. But the community organizer, there was a young lady that was president of the community organization, and she sued HUD, state HUD, and the city,
Okay.
and put the injunction on the rest of the development. Now these cats were in full bore. They put a Walmart there. They put a Sam's Club near. I mean, they were in full bore. They were ready to go. Like this neighborhood was supposed to be transformed big time. They yo, they put a freaking rowing club
Mm.
in the hood. They
Oh.
built this big ass house and it launches and everything for rowboats in the freaking hood. And it's still there and it's still being used. Anyhow, um, when I heard about this recent development, I was like, yeah, they really about to go ham and kick everybody out because they're not going to sit on that land forever. That doesn't make any sense. And there's more to it as well. There's a plan to either attract the Olympics or something on the scale of the World Cup to the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area. Well, Baltimore can't do it alone. It's an old city.
Mm.
There's only but so much space, and there's not enough hotel rooms, not enough parking space. DC can't do it alone.
Mm.
Same situation. So the goal has been for years to make that a true metropolis, and you see it in small things that have they're allowing people to get used to. There's a bus now that goes from Washington D.C. to Baltimore Washington International Airport. That did not exist when I was young.
Okay.
Did not,
All right.
and it's a daily route with a couple of runs per day. It did not exist. But you're bridging that gap slowly but surely, getting people's minds in of the understanding that this is just one area.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Now the older cats, there's still beef between Baltimore and DC. Don't know what the hell that's all about. Well, I do know what it's about. Two different cities. It's oil and water, to be honest with you. Baltimore is very much blue collar. DC is very much white collar. That it's a clash of that. But um, these things, these these instances of putting stuff out there and letting people marinate on it until you get that full change was on full display this week when you have Pam Bondi going up in front of Congress the way she did,
Mm-hmm.
which will be, and I talked about this, the cold opening for Saturday Night Live this week. If it's not the cold opening, my name ain't what it is. I don't know what Saturday Night Live is going to do, but that is clearly the cold opening for Saturday Night Live this week. When you get what's the boy named Jeremy Carl and his testimony about the disintegration of white culture. This is comedic gold that's happened all this week. Um, but these things are predicated from, or these are the things that have been festering in the American underbelly for some
Mm.
time. We go back to the tiki torches in where was that? That was Charlottesville,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia. We go back to, we will not be replaced. We will not be. I remember that. We go back to January 6th. This is what this crap is all about. And, and these things are bubbling up slowly but surely. We're sitting back trying to figure out why folks don't recognize what's going on. It's because they've been seeing it so long. They're really numb to it. And in another way, they don't believe it. They don't believe it's going to happen
Mm-hmm.
because our society has held so long that they can't wrap their minds around the huge changes that are about to come. This is, though, the place for you to understand or get a greater understanding. This shit real. And it coming. These cats is not playing. They are 100% scared. Listen to what these folks are saying. They are scared. And think about it. Marlon said, scam Bondi. Yes, but think about this. She went to Congress in the beginning of the week. Jeremy was at Congress toward the end of the week. Who are we talking more about? Her or him? Who should we be more terrified of? Her or him?
Mm-hmm.
I would submit it's him. Did you hear what this joker was saying? I'm gonna read to you exactly some things this cat was saying. But did you hear what this joker was saying? Did you get a young folks always? Did you get a vibe for where he was coming from? Did you really listen to what this man was saying?
Mm-hmm.
This shit is a problem. This shit is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Start in the beginning. So Pam Bondi was in front of Congress. She was getting grilled about the Epstein files. I said to you directly, I said, you know what? I think you're right, bro. 100%. But I think you may have been a year off.
Right.
So last year, Thomas was saying that by Halloween, Trump would be gone. I think he was a year off. I think it's going to be this year. If you look at the polling data, it ain't a good look. He is 51 points under with folks 18 to 25 on immigration. He is negative 20 something points on the economy. This this ain't this ain't good. He's losing the college educated, which were the independent voters. He's actually losing non-college educated folks. There was a special election that happened in Texas. A Democrat won that. Democrats usually don't win in Texas, but Democrat won that for the House, for a House seat. There are a whole lot of fissures in the coalition that put Trump back in office. A whole lot of fissures.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, okay, I'm sorry. Let's stay with Bonnet. I'm sorry. I don't want to go too far. So she goes in front of the committee asking her about the Epstein files again. During her, I guess you want to call it testimony. When asked, was she investigating anyone in the Epstein files and or anyone other than already has been acknowledged? Her response was, the Dow is at 50,000 points. What the fuck that got to do with the Epstein files? Please explain that to me. Please explain how your response being President Trump has been the most transparent president. How? We've released over, what she say, 3 million pages? I think she said 3 million pages.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not everything. Because you clearly said it wasn't everything. And you also clearly said, but we've met our legal responsibility, so we're stopping.
Mm-hmm.
What? Aren't you the same folks that said you had the files on your desk and you would release them the first day, first week? Aren't you the same folks that said that? Aren't you the same folks that told your base that you would do that? You called them to the White House to parade that fact in front of them. Guys, know you've been wanting these things. Don't worry about it. We'll give it to you in a week. We'll give it to you in a week. First week, not a problem. You can have it all. Now, you slow rolling. Now, you're conscious of meeting your legal obligation.
Right.
The two don't match up.
Mm-hmm.
The two don't match up. Thomas, what are you seeing in these damn Epstein files? You got these folks scared out their boots.
Well, I mean, I know we're looking at Bondi, but I'm looking at the media, and it's a clear media cover up. Epstein is a Mossad agent. That's just what this is. And this is about espionage. This was about using the sexual perversions of powerful men and women in government and in corporate America and allowing other government agencies to have access to them through pedophilia rings. And that's really what it is. And this goes all the way back to 9/11. There was a file where they were talking about Epstein's brother, where I forgot the lady's name, but she was a part of, no, it was Ghislaine Maxwell. She's emailing Epstein's brother and she's asking him, does he want to be on 9/11 commission? It's a secret commission that was supposed to come back and break down everything that happened with 9/11. And nobody was supposed to know about it, but they had the juice to put him on. Epstein was also a part of the Trilateral Commission. And that's very important because he worked for the Rothschilds. I say that to you all to say what we saw today or what we saw this week from Pam Bondi is Pam Bondi's not in a place to where she can offer no truths. She can't even offer no lies. She has to do what they call filibuster because she knows that she's in a sinking ship and she can become at any time, she can be impeached. When you testify under oath, if you lie, just like how they're running this back on, Biden administrative folks, how they're running this back on other Trump enemies, that could be ran back on them as well. So if she gets caught lying under oath, which she can't tell the truth, so she's going to come out and lie. And that's right. It's just a small thing, but I'll say this about us as a public. Do we really care? I'm gonna give you three instances, and I'm gonna tie it all back to Michael Jackson. About I want to say 7 years ago, these young white boys from Hollywood was talking about pedophiles in Hollywood and how they were ready to tell the story about all of these rich white pedophiles in Hollywood. The Me Too movement happened and white women started talking, and you never heard anything about them little boys that were going to talk about the pedophiles. And I want you guys to hear what I'm saying, because we were focusing on women who, in my opinion, some of these stories, people were taking risks that they should have known not to take. Casting couch calls at 5 o'clock in the morning. What job really has you show up at 5 o'clock in the morning? What job really has you show up at 2 o'clock in the morning? But that story gained traction because they didn't want to talk about the producers, the execs, and others who were molesting the little boys. That still ain't a part of this story. All right, let's fast forward to 2 years ago. There's a documentary that comes out. It's called Quiet on the Set. I don't know if anybody saw it, but I watched it a couple times. It was talking about the pedophilia at Nickelodeon with all the child stars. Wasn't talked about a lot. Didn't have R. Kelly in it. Didn't have P. Diddy in it. Didn't have Bill Cosby in it. Because, Black people, we love to know exactly what we do, but we don't always like to love, because white people, we still got this idea that they're better than us. So we really don't know what the white folks, we don't want to believe that about white Jesus, right? And so if you watch Quiet on the Set, on one show, they had at least 3 to 4 pedophiles that was working on not only the children on the set, but other children in general. And when you go back and you watch some of the shows and you listen to some of the interactions and you know that the writing came from the brain of a pedophile, it makes sense. But once again, Similar to that story about them boy actors, Quiet on the Set got no traction. It didn't get as much traction as Diddy. Once again, in the Diddy situation, we're talking about adults who did what? Adults who signed off on it. Outside of the domestic violence of Cassie, everybody else were willing participants. I'm just saying, if we're watching what's going on with this situation, and tie back to Michael Jackson, because a lot of these people, Epstein included, from what I'm gathering, is that Michael Jackson understood who they were. And those young boys that were going to come out and tell their story about pedophilia, when they were giving their testimony, they were saying that Michael Jackson was the only person that was protecting them from the pedophiles. And because he knew what was going on, the story was concocted that he was the pedophile. And you can go watch the videos of these young boys talking about how their parents were trying to force them to lie on Michael Jackson so they could get paid. All the way to Macaulay Culkin. Just want to put that out there. So while comedians, black comedians who told jokes, and black folks, we do this, we piled on Mike. The same white boys that he was supposed to be molesting was saying, no, he was the one who was protecting us. He was the one who stopped me from getting on a plane to go to the Epstein Island. That's what Macaulay Culkin stated. Michael Jackson stopped him from getting on a plane to go to Macaulay Culkin. Every big moment of white folks is a distraction to steer people away from something else. Even I hope they're not distracted by this whole Trump. No, so Leah, I would say Epstein is not a distraction. Epstein is really what's wrong with America. It's not a distraction because it's not about the girls. It's what they were using the girls for. Don't get caught up in the sex of the situation. Get caught up in what the sex was being used for. Because when you start talking about on global scale, and you can break this all the way down to the missing black girls in our community. Where do y'all think these kids are going? Do you guys not know that the person that's over crypto in this country is also in those files? Do we not know? Because that's a conversation.
I learned that yesterday.
Huh?
I learned that yesterday. I learned yesterday that Epstein was pivotal to starting
crypto. Oh, 100%.
And that's
because you have to have a currency to hide sex trafficking, human trafficking. We're just talking about people that's going missing in our community, and we're just shrugging our shoulders. But you got to understand that same 401k that you brag about. What do you think is powering some of these things? Human trafficking. And if you're African American, you should think about organ trafficking. We got a state like Ohio.
Melanin is in huge demand.
We got a state like Ohio where they got 11,000 black folks missing. 11,000. And so if you don't pay attention and follow exactly what's going on, and here's the thing, it's not that much of a distraction because really the press is not talking about it. This is the difference with the press today. The real distraction is social media. If we want to talk about the distraction was distracting black people, social media, we spent hours talking about nothing on social media. And we only do what white people tell us what to talk about on social media. It's the biggest distraction. If we were really focusing, we wouldn't even be on social media platforms. Because at the end of the day, when you take a look at this situation, right? Here's how cold it is with this Epstein situation. If this was done 30 years ago, this would be the biggest hearing ever. This hearing, the Epstein
and news story
would be
every newspaper.
Every newspaper would be covering it. But you know why it don't cover it? Because some of the people whose names are redacted in the file, they own the newspaper companies. So now you don't get to talk about it. And that's the issue. That's the issue. And if we think about this World Wide Web that we're connected to, and we're talking going back to Pam, I do think that Pam Bondi is, in my opinion, showing you what a real white woman is like. She's dedicated.
Right.
I think Trump had Omarosa and he had other people before. and they literally sold him out. And I think when they sold him out in that instance, he went and found some ride or die white chicks. And those ride or die white chicks are sticking by his side. And so, you know,
In sickness and in health.
and that's really what this all boils down to, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is white supremacy on full display, but it's on display in a way that I feel like we care more about Diddy. And that's the crazy part. I'm going back to Diddy after going past Michael Jackson. Think about the Diddy trial, how we knew everything and everybody, and then it was just out talked about. Remember, even with Diddy at first, they were talking about the kids. They would say there was some kids that were involved. Remember that? But now we got this case out here. They're talking about kids who were murdered.
Full of kids. Yep.
We're talking about, they're talking about
And don't
witnessing.
nobody know nothing.
Come on. They got a driver who said that it was a young lady who said she got raped by Donald Trump. She complained to him. The driver said he was thinking about going back to kill Donald Trump. And then that young lady ended up being murdered. They try to say it was a suicide, but the coroner said ain't no way possible she could have murdered herself. Ain't no statute of limitations on murder. So I'm just saying, either we care,
So,
we don't care.
right. Welcome to the ride, Rashi. Morning to you. How you doing?
I'm well, brothers. Sorry about the delay. I'm actually feeling a little under the weather, and when I looked up, it was 10:27.
Wow.
So
We hope you feel better soon. Did
yeah,
you
I
get
had
anything
went
for
to go
Valentine?
visit. I went to go. I think I got what they call a nosocomial infection, meaning I got it from going to the hospital to go check on my mother, who's suffering from complications of diabetes. And
Sorry to
that's
hear
the only
that.
place I could think was either that or them outbreak monkeys that I work for.
Did you get anything for Valentine's Day? The kids make you anything special?
I don't know, we don't, I don't really play that personally. And when I was trying to get my children to kind of focus on what's important, they came back on the second half from their break with with an anti work and program. And I just showed them. I showed them just the sheer amount of work that I've asked for, that they did. They did what I call the yes, that's no. They said yes, I'ma do it, and they even some of them made their body make motions like they were gonna do it, but the actual product never materialized. And so neither did nothing my money could have bought with more than a gram of sugar. I really don't. I don't reward children who don't do basic stuff. I just don't. I never have. And since
Right.
most of these holidays is cooked up and full of shit anyway, I I don't really bother. Now, what I am going to do is I retailored my lesson so that they get some Black history and for black the blackness of science. Okay, that's what I done did. I have introduced a new morning segment that used to be about, weather and climate, and now we're pushing on into black innovation and black ingenuity. So that's what they got from me, a switched out lesson plan that'll help them understand the power of historical power of the black mind. But no, sir, I don't intend to celebrate uh what was it, St. Patrick's Day either. I don't do St. Patrick's Day. I really don't play
Mm,
with Valentine's Day. It's several holidays that I feel like are simply just there to balance out the American economy, and I don't have any money like that. And I didn't even tell the kids. Now,
I
usually, if
do
I
that.
really don't have the money, I tell the children to party amongst themselves. Y'all want to party? Y'all bring it. I didn't even do that this time. I didn't want to talk to any parents or I just no. I just told them no, and they felt it too. I had two or three parents call and ask, why I was being the Grinch of Valentine's Day or whatever, and then I asked them to please go look in their child's backpack. and do a backpack audit to see what is actually happening with the educational process of that child. And then they got a little frustrated and hung up because I'm tired, fellas. I'm tired of being the one. Listen, I'm tired of looking at.
It's almost over.
Thank you, and I told them that, and they think I'm being weird. I said, "Well,
The
I'm
school year
almost
almost over.
done. I'm finna hand y'all over to the next one, and I hope you understand. Please don't say only some of y'all gonna be able to say my name. The rest of y'all, if you say my name, I'm calling and tell them, I don't put that on me. Put that on their family, cause I tried. You put that on me, Ma, and the fact that they family busted up and came back together 3 and 4 times that year. Put it on the fact that they fired her and then he left. Okay? Put that on the fact that because it's not that I did not provide interactive, innovative, hands-on activities and understanding that those children should have been able to use to better manipulate their reality. But it's just
Right.
they don't want it, y'all. I wish I could tell y'all how apathetic students are these days and how early the apathy sets in. Woo, and they used to think it was third grade. They called it the third grade slump because of the change in material and sometimes the maturity of the child. That's where it ain't there. If it is third grade, they slump in third, fourth, fifth, sixth. They slumping the whole way through, and we just looking now. One of the issues that's facing my particular district is they didn't went in and did a audit, and we about to lose our accreditation again. And and
Oh
I'm
wow.
telling you, I blame COVID because we had an initiative. We had an initiative that was pulling us straight out of what they call the doldrums, where we could not get proper progress forward. We was just swirling around and around with the same children.
Hmm.
We have an initiative in Kansas City called Blueprint 2030, where we begged the government for $500 million and told them what it was going to take in order for us to make uh, positive change within the district here. And for the most part, they heard us. They heard us when we said that, hey, y'all gave us a whole bunch of students who don't even speak English. What we gonna do? They did something about that. They heard us when we told them that when we looked at Kansas City like it's poverty lines and what, and so they had to bust down and start changing a lot of stuff because our children couldn't. We can't pay for our children to do uh, a lot of the things that would enrich them for the for further understanding. So um, I, I don't know. I've been sitting here, litting at this look computer, trying to figure out how I'm gonna tap these grades in a way where I don't see over 70% of these children again next year. I done told them that COVID is done, Lee. COVID done. You can show up right now at the
Hold on.
school with a COVID T-shirt on, and they not gonna send you home. I'm telling you, they tell you to put the damn mask on and keep using hand sanitizer. The COVID protocol is over. So if your child is
Russ,
fucking
you
up,
said
they get to send them back. We at least in Kansas City, they were so sensitive to the fact that we were a poor city under siege with the virus. We didn't care what they didn't care what the child did. We could not hold them. We could not send them back. We could not. All we could do was tell them, "Hey, it's something up. It's something going on with this child," and then they would try to get them tutoring or something. I don't know. They would try to find out what it is. They ain't even doing that no
Russ,
more.
did you
If you
say
can't learn like a regular student, get your ass on to the back of the bus. And so that's what I'm trying to explain.
Russ,
That we're about to. Hello.
did you say you were sitting in front of the computer trying to figure out how to put these grades so 70% of them kids don't come back to you? Did you
Well, if I enter them as
girl,
is without the
you be
curve,
you be saying some shit.
if I enter them without the curve, if I then I will have probable cause for retention. If I
Okay.
retain some and not all the ones who are qualifying. Excuse me. If I start picking and choosing, they gonna know I'm on that folio. Cause I ain't evil enough to retain the ones I hate and push forward the ones I like. That ain't. I'm bad, but I'm not that bad. But when you get to add, and I calls them, I calls them bird brain women. I tell them, hey, uh, little Devontae, and you know what she say? Girl, I told Devontae, I'm told him. The next week, Devontae still didn't turn shit in. None of it. None of what she said she was gonna send him with showed up. So I put the zeros in. Now, when I look, Devontae get to spend next year with me again, but I don't want to. So now I get to go and say, you know what? I talked to Devontae's mama. She know I'm gonna go and put a 45 in there instead of a zero, because maybe it'll take it from a D, from an F to a high D. And look, this is what I'm in here doing. They still failing, but they failing with the possibility of one day maybe. And because if I put it in the way it is now, we cooked. And I didn't explain to mama, daddy. I've been
That's
calling daddy's boyfriends and girlfriends. And I'm just tired, fellas. I'm tired of this is the weirdest position to be in that the pressure is from the administration to get it right. Nobody wants me penciling us out of accreditation. The pressure is from the parent because she say, "Oh, look, she'll say it. I don't know what the fuck y'all doing. I don't know. Oh, it's your job." Okay, the pressure is from her to know what she don't know, and then the pressure is from the child. Cause, please, I just wanna, please. Okay, so when you get through dealing with the trifold pressure of what it means to be a teacher, I listen. So that's where I am. Apologize for the timbre of my voice. I'm telling you, I'm not. I went to the hospital. Uh, I went to the hospital, fellas,
no, you
because
good.
they have amputated my mother's big toe from complications to diabetes. My diabetics out there, please listen. They're not playing. There is no, hello, listen to me, diabetics out there. There is no other plan but amputation. Even the rich man whose toes and extremities turned black from poor circulation, they cut that motherfucker off too. He just gets a better prosthetic than my mom about to get. You cannot play diabetic games. If you are out there and you like to eat whatever you want to eat, and you no longer have the ability to look straight down at your feet, because that's one of the barometers. If you look straight down, can you see your feet at all? And then they get to talking about,
You should
look, it's
see
literally
Rodney
a test,
face.
y'all. They want to know, can you see your toes? Can you see the middle of your feet? If you just look, not bend over, just look down. Can you see your feet? If you cannot see your feet, you're in trouble of losing your feet. I'll
Mm,
say it again. If you can't see them, you better get right with the Lord, because you're gonna lose them. That's all they got. There is no advanced reconstructive vascular reconstruction now that can help you reverse dead tissue. That can help you. You understand? This is it, Michael Jackson. So
yes,
I'm gonna tell you, like I told my mama, it tastes good right now, but it don't taste as good as missing your feet. I don't give a damn what it is. It could be a
right.
3-star Michelin restaurant you eating at, and the shit don't taste better than your toes. So please listen out there. Go check your damn baby's backpack for one, and number two, look down and see if you can see your own toes. Okay, because these are turning out to be super major lessons that I'm dealing with and got me reeling. But other than that, I've been listening to y'all talk about that news now. Let me tell you, home of the perverts, and the rest of the world has got our coattail. The rest of the world checking up on America like we the house on the block like we got to register. We the continent, we the country that got to
Oh, oh,
register on the pervert list, and everybody else is looking at us trying to
oh,
figure out if we'd have moved into their community.
right. So hold on. We'll pivot to that. I want to give Rodney an opportunity to jump in. Morning, Rodney. I know you said goodbye to not a founding member, but a foundational member last night at the gathering. Just wanted you give you some space to recap that because she has played a pivotal role in what you've been doing out there. So, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's enjoying this Saturday because, hey, might be your last. So you just will enjoy as much as you can while you can. Big shout out for Valentine's Day for all of you lovers out there. Please feel free not to make any babies while you're out there making love so you don't bring them into this world until we can make it a better place. I think that was also one of Michael Jackson's. So yes, last night we did two things last night. February 9th, we recognized the 11th anniversary of Sam Smith, the founder of the Gatherings transition. We talked about him last night, but we also talked about someone who was a part of another organization called Surge, showing up for racial justice, which is actually a white group, an organization made up of white people who are trying to decolonize themselves and have sort of attached themselves to the gathering and have become regulars at the gathering. And she was one of those white women who says that she comes from colonizers, but wants to decolonize her mind. And I bring books every week to the gathering. And of the books that I brought to the gathering, she has read 60 of those books, uh, learning what she never knew, what she was never taught in school, and a lot of what she never learned in life. She has come to the gathering, and from the discussions that we have and the recommendations of the books, she was our oldest regular member of the gathering, 82 years old. And she last night was her last gathering. So we wanted to recognize her for being such a pivotal member. And what I tell people who come to the gathering that you don't have to be black, but when you come to the gathering, we're going to talk black. And she jumped right in and talked black and understands the power of blackness, also understand the forces being used against blackness. And thank goodness for her sharing some of her whiteness with us so that we could better understand what's attacking us. Because she was an 82-year-old woman who, for the last 3 to 4 years, have been decolonizing herself. And she says she's still decolonizing herself from the poison of white supremacy that she was surrounded by. So, big shout out to Susanna for being willing to break the chains, or at least try to break the chains of white supremacy and bring other white people along with her as she studied under still the tutelage of Sam Smith and many of the books that he recommended to me that I recommend to the gathering. So big shout out to Susanna for being a part.
That gathering work, Brother Rodney, when I tell you that when you get to see it, it's generational. Like you see the people that's there now at the gathering, but I promise you they leave and they go and disseminate that. Though it's like being part of a information hub, but not just a library where people can come. It's where they can get their talking points right. Like it's because they run in their mouth, but look, come on in here and get the actual facts based on literature, based on, and if you don't read it, cool. Here go a band of people who actually read it, and now you can get their perspective, their points of view on one cachet information. The gathering is powerful, brother. I just wish I could get something even close to that started here. We got a lot of people pontificating and talking, but they talk about sports here. They talk about the Chiefs and stuff. There is a group, and I may try to get him on the show. His name is Marcus Brown, and he has but they talk about like the children. They talk about what we're gonna do for the kids a lot. So yeah, I may be coming to you, Brother Rodney, to see what it takes to create a gathering type program. It can't be that difficult to get people who care about decolonization and understanding imperialism, capitalism, and how it affects us with under the umbrella of racism, white pathology, it can't be that hard. What you look? We all meeting up at the fish house. If you can't stand it no more, meet me at the fish house. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do it, but brother Rodney, you got a soldier over here that that has that on their heart about how I'm going to personally start my own, or our, let me say that better, our own, as in part of this, uh, our own voices and real radio. You know, under this umbrella, I would like to try to make another one of those that you got there. And I want to say you got something similar like that, don't you, Barry? Don't you have something similar to the gathering that you do there in Minnesota?
No, no, not at this,
No.
not at this moment. No, for the most part, I would, I would welcome it, but we don't have anything like that. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we talked about last week was our issue is that we waited to calamity or to white folks in the room to talk to each other here, and that is problematic because you're never going to be able to get to the next step. I sat and talked to some brothers last night for 3 hours after we did the Watch App focus group. And by the way, it went well. The focus group, they asked questions for an hour afterwards, and then me and them brothers sat and talked pretty much from 7 to like 10:30. But we were talking, and it would be probably things that they would talk about in the gathering. The black folks here are too comfortable, as one of the brothers point out. They're too comfortable. It has to be emotional here. That's the one thing that you have to worry about black people who are in a social welfare state. I think Vegas is a little different. Vegas, pretty much, I see a lot more black entrepreneurs in Vegas than I do see here in Minnesota. And part of it is because the service industry in Vegas is out of hotels, or you figure out a way to create your own niche, the contract. Black folks here, they know if they fall down, it's going to be somebody white that's either going to give them some food. It's going to be somebody white that's going to give them a place to live. If you're a single mother, it's going to be somebody white that's going to buy you a car. It's going to be somebody white that's going to take care of your daycare. It's going to be somebody white that's going to take care of, your Section 8, or whatever the case may be. So how do you really get people galvanized to really stand up for themselves when they know white people going to give it to them? And if you're single, they got all kinds of programs for single black women. They ain't got a lot of programs for a married black woman. They ain't got no programs for no single black man. And so you have the disparities. And even though people know those disparities exist and they can go in those rooms and they can see only themselves, they'll still talk about the other sex and say, oh, you is lazy. Well, how lazy could a person be? Because if it wasn't the white folks giving you the house, giving you the car, giving you all these things, what would you have? And see, so it's hard to do what they're doing in Vegas here, because these people already have the savior idea is going to come from a white person. And then if you take that away, Sister Rashi, if they don't have white folks helping them in that way, they probably work for a 501c3. And that 501c3 is what killed the Black Power movement.
Mm.
The same hippies for Huey, those same hippies for Huey, that's what they came up with, the 501c3, and that killed the Black Power movement. And part of killing that Black Power movement is killing the Black family structure. So they start introducing you into words like cisgender, toxic masculinity. They start talking about patriarchy, but really it's white male patriarchy, but nobody gets that. It's always just patriarchy. And then they further divide of the community. So we're in a tough space here, because when you take a look at all of that stuff, it's really more divisive. Some people eat and they climb their way to the top, but the rest of the people suffer. So we don't have that hunger as I would hope we do. I know people have been seeing what's been going on in the protests and stuff. And, I try to chill, not say much, because I like to give people credit, but I'll be real. A lot of white folks protesting because a lot of those Hmong people, those Somali folk, and those Latino people, they rent the property that the white folks own. They're the ones that's watching their children. They're the ones that's working in their business. They're understanding that bottom line is being hurt when this takes place. And so they don't want their bottom line hurt neither. So they're not
That's
standing up for those people's rights. They're standing up for their own business, because in these same communities they going into, they own everything. Them folks don't own anything. We got something out here called a Somali mall. The Somalis don't even own the mall. They got 2 malls and they don't even own the mall. They rent the place from an Arab man. So that's kind of the mindset here in Minnesota. And
so you can't. So it's hard to rally them for even not like heated protests, but just for the kind of discussions that the gathering would have, just to get them together to discuss. And now here's why I would say that you just had a that event that came to Minnesota, the one that piqued my interest because it was about the legality, the legality of.
so I don't want to talk about the agency. Do I talk about the agency, Rodney? Do I talk about the agency? Do I tell the public about the agency? Should I tell them the joke?
So
let them know.
You might be able to
So
tell
nobody else gonna get hoodwinked.
So Rashi, I'm gonna tell you something that's real funny. So the brothers came, and for one, you know, we in Minnesota we got to do a better job with people who got mental health issues online, talking like they're revolutionary, because they were invited by a brother who talks a lot of mess here, Jonathan Mason. I'm gonna say his name, and he told them that they were going to have 2,000 people at the Capitol, and when they got here, there was no Jonathan Mason, there was no 2,000 people at the Capitol, and they're calling him, and he's not responding to the calls.
And where did these people come from, Brother Bear?
These brothers came from DC, they came from North Carolina, they came from Florida, they came from Cincinnati, and they were armed to the tilt. Okay, they came for some action. So they at the Capitol, Rashi, and so another brother says, hey, well, since you guys are talking self-defense, how about we go take you guys over to this other event that they're doing? These people are teaching self-defense, and you guys can collaborate. So the brother asked, Malik Zulu Shabazz asked, hey, are they black? The brother says yes. Hey, do you think they'll mind if we come over? The brother says, no, they won't mind. Let's go ahead and go. So they go and they drive from St. Paul to South Minneapolis. And so my brother Mujasi is filming brother Malik Zulu Shabazz and the Black Panthers while they're here. And so they walk up, Rashi, they see a sister outside smoking a cigarette. The sister smoking a cigarette. My brother's talking to her like, hey, is this the self-defense class going on here? She's like, yeah, but you really can't bring the camera in here. So I'm gonna need you to take that camera away, because we ain't gonna allow no recording. And let me call and make sure that you can go up, because it's invite only. So my brother says a young lady comes downstairs with some blue hair. It says kind of like a strange blue. So he said his spider senses got the tingling. And he said a lady radioed up, and somebody comes down the stairs. It's a person with titties and a beard. In an AR-15.
A beard, titties,
Titties and a beard.
and an AR-15. Hey, that's
And
a
an
story
AR-15.
right there. Hey, that's a story and a half right there. So titties, okay.
Lord have mercy.
So the brothers, the Panthers are here, and the Panthers are in this situation, and they're being humble because this brother told them to show up, and he said it was okay if they came, so they came. And so now you got to remember the Panthers are strapped up, and now these people, they're learning.
Oh, be careful. Pause. You said the Panthers are strapped up. Pause.
The Panthers got guns, and these folks got guns too.
Oh, shucks.
And so now these people are going crazy on these folks. No, Leah, this is Minnesota. Don't do that. This took a turn. It took a Minnesota turn. And so now we got these people who are, it looks like transgender and queer folk, who are learning how to self-defend and learning tactical training, etc. And they yelling at these brothers saying, well, the reason why we training is because men who are wearing masks. And I want to say that and get serious for a moment. They said we're training because there are men who are wearing masks and have guns in our community. And when I say that, I want you to understand how they morphed black men who got guns and masks with white men who are working for the federal government. I want you to understand how that got morphed. No different than the patriarchal conversation where it stopped being about white patriarchy and it just became about patriarchy in general. But with that being said, they was at an old Mexican standoff. And remember, everybody got guns, Rashi. So anything could have went left. But the Panther brothers, the Black Panthers, they were a lot more calmer than the Pink Panthers. And so, so they humbly left. So that was a part of those brothers' experience here in Minnesota. Now, I know if I came from in DC, it's Chocolate City. They probably ain't used to nothing like that. And I'm pretty sure the brothers from Florida, I'm pretty sure they weren't used to that. And I know the brothers from North Carolina wasn't used to it. Ohio, maybe. I'm just saying, it's a crazy place. If you ever went through Ohio, it's a crazy place. They got serial killers. They got all kinds of other stuff. So some transsexual militant people, that ain't too far off. But in Minnesota, I mean, y'all do know the protesters last week were throwing frozen dildos at the ICE agents.
Yeah, what was that about?
I don't know what the
hell did they get the dildos from?
Man, listen, they had suitcases and boxes of dildos, and they were sticking the dildos on the back of the trucks, all kinds of stuff, man. It just got weird. It got weird for a second, but that's a true story, y'all. I didn't make that story up. That story is true. So it was the village people versus public enemy. Yeah, that's how the story went. All right.
Brother Barry's on the road.
Okay. I don't know where to pivot to.
Bring it back, Lee.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know where to pivot to from there. So let's stick to what the hell we here for, right? All right. So stick in Minnesota. Tom Holman said that the surge is going to draw down there in Minnesota. While they've been there, they claim that 4,000 undocumented immigrants have been arrested, most with criminal cases. Now, notice they went away from speaking on hard criminal cases, meaning murder, rape, grand larceny, so on and so forth. Any freaking time you were arrested for anything, you could have been arrested for jaywalking. He was the criminal. I was jaywalking. Right. Are you serious right now? But that's what's going on there. I don't know what it looks like on the ground, Thomas. I'll ask you that in a half a second. I want to do a two-part, though. I want you to speak on the impact that this has had, their presence, on small businesses, on businesses in general.
Yeah.
Have you all been hearing news, local, obviously, about the impact, positive or negative, that ICE has had on the Twin Cities while they've been visiting?
So I would tell you, there has been a lot of complaints about businesses and the impact of businesses. But when they're writing these proposals, the proposals are more for immigrant businesses. And I want you to keep that in mind, because before they sent ICE in, the conversation was about immigrant fraud.
Yeah.
Now keep that in mind. So I just want people to kind of tie it in. But there's black businesses who have lost a lot of money too. I was talking to a brother last night who owns Paradise Pizza in North Minneapolis. He's the only pizza franchise that will deliver throughout North Minneapolis to the black folks there. Often when they have billions of dollars, like what they're trying to pump in because of the disaster relief, as they're calling it, after ICE, businesses like that, black businesses don't get dollars at all, as if they don't have customers who are Latino, who's in their businesses, or other people white, or people just not going because of what's going on in that particular area. So that's part of it. Now they say that they're winding down, but what I saw last night from City Council member Jason Chavez, who is a city council, I forgot his district, or his area, I think it's Ward. What is this ward? I think it's Ward 7. Chavez said that they had picked up at least 5 to 7 more people last night in my former neighborhood of Phillips neighborhood in South Minneapolis. So I don't think that the wind down is really as winding down as people think it is. And I think it's to get people more comfortable so folks can start moving back around. Um,
And
uh,
being observed more, you think?
I think being observed more, but I also think, as I was talking to Rodney the other night, this is about poll numbers. They have to
Yeah.
say the right thing and appear to be the right way because Trump's taking that hit. And when you listen, when you start this Epstein stuff start unraveling more, and you start kind of putting the pieces together, like a lot of these ICE agents across the country have been accused of rape, and some of these people are being. Think about this for example. If I got people that's in charge of crypto and we're dealing with a human trafficker already, how do we know that these people are being deported back to other places? How do we know those folks ain't being sold off? How do we know those things and how do we trust it? So I think that there's a lot of stuff at this moment where they're looking like they're de-escalating, because I saw that they're pulling out in Chicago. I saw that they were pulling out in California as well. But I do think that they'll be back by the midterms. And I think y'all that they are going to kick off an incident that give them an excuse around the country to go back.
Mm. Well, I, obviously this surge, that's what they're calling it, is an opportunity to build a roadmap as to what they can do and what they cannot do. So I can see that happening. I see, to your point, how the poll numbers have turned, and they've turned nastily against not only the president, but also against the Republicans in general. I want to get to Leah's comment, and she said the surge has caused teachers here to have to pull double duty, teaching in person and online at home. It was supposed to end on the 12th, but now goes to April, which means some students will be online the entire third quarter. Now, as an adult, that sucks. As a kid, man, that's the damn bomb. You talking about I get to stay home and watch TV for class? Yeah,
But see, we already
this is
suffered with that. Lee. That was COVID, and we still flailing trying to get those numbers back. When children
done.
are alone on a computer, almost nothing good happens without another person sitting there making sure they click on the right thing at the right time. Doing it's you just wait. We finna be, what are we, number 50 what? We number 40 what in the polls? In country 20 what? We finna slide right back on down. Cause when children put that device up there, they
Yeah.
either ignore it or they use it for evil. Very rarely do you have a dedicated family who pulls it out for work at the dining room table. Somebody's there monitoring the behavior, and they put that motherfucker back up when the work is done. It just doesn't happen. So when you put that thing in their hand, Lee, you're going to see COVID like numbers when we talk about education. And that's why we into trouble now.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. I think that, as far as, but I will say this too, though. I would say that if you look at what's happening in the UK, that should give Americans hope, because that does put pressure in other places, because a lot of these people may not be able to travel too far outside of the US if everybody else puts them on list to be arrested. And that's the one thing that I will say about this. But look, let's be real. And I've been watching a lot of TV shows and the Epstein files and whatever else we can talk about. But I want to say this because I got into a back and forth with a young man online yesterday. And typically I don't do back and forths on profiles no more on that white man's internet. But I do want to say that we did have a choice as a country. We didn't have to put ourselves in this position. We could have chose Kamala Harris. And I'm going to say it again, and I want to say it in plain English. For those of you who thought the candidate had to be perfect or the candidate had to be a certain way, you either want hell or you don't want hell. That's the choice. and you knew you was getting hell with him. So it did not matter who the other person was. Anybody should have ran against him on the other side and should have won. The idea that you have to be tricked and persuaded to not put yourself through pain is a bit retarded. Just being honest. As a collective, the idea that people parade people on TV, and you got people who are part of the Democratic Party who are saying, well, this person wasn't the perfect candidate. Did she have 34 felonies? Was she ever accused of raping a minor? I'm just asking. Those are the options. How about talking about groping women live on TV? Did she do any of those things? I'm just asking because even if it was Joe Biden and we felt like Joe Biden was too old, is Joe Biden old worse than Donald Trump? Like the options. And I'm just trying to figure out because Americans seem to like, they like options. What the options when it's shitty and it smell, or you don't have to deal with the shitty smell? Why are we always playing this game? So I feel like while I'm angry about the stuff with Trump, I'm still kind of caught up with looking at us as a public and the justification of a lot of citizens, whether they're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, for Trump being in this position. And one last point, because the young man was upset because I was calling out another man who started a 501c3 Somalis anti against Kamala. I don't understand how you can put a 501c3 together. I don't understand how you can campaign against Kamala Harris, but then when ICE starts snatching up bodies, you start showing up with black folks and start complaining about ICE. That's what you voted for. That's what you stood 10 toes down for. He was even quoted after the election. Hey, how do you feel about the results? He said he was happy with the results. Well, you don't get to have your cake and eat it too in this situation. You don't get to do that. And I'm saying this because black men, by a lot of black women that flanked this man on his sides, these were the same sisters that were going around saying, well, black men didn't participate in voting for Kamala, and they started putting the numbers. It was only 87%, and we voted in 96%. Well, the guy you're standing next to, he created a whole nonprofit organization to get a lot of his people to go against Kamala. So what's the difference between him and the brothers you guys are complaining about? What makes him special? And that's
He
that.
ain't black.
Man, come on, man. He
Rodney,
ain't, he ain't us. Okay.
this is your wheelhouse. What do you say?
I mean, I'm sort of with Brother Barry on this. It's you got a choice between shooting yourself in the head or not shooting yourself in the head. And you choose to shoot yourself in the head, you shot yourself in the head. There's consequences that come with it, and they're facing the consequences. It's multiple influencers out there from various groups who were supporting this current administration, and some of them are being deported or on the list or have been snatched up. Though I don't rejoice in them being snatched, but at the same token, FA and FO, there you go, Brother Marlon. So that's what happens. But this is, unfortunately, it impacts the rest of us too. So we have to hope that not only do the Somalis and others, the Venezuelans, the Mexicans, we need to hope that they learn this lesson, because the pain is not over yet. It's not over for them. And the pain, believe it or not, hasn't really started for us. I mean, we're facing some of it because we're getting caught up too.
Yeah.
But it's not over. It's far from over. So, matter of fact, I had a meeting
We
with
just
my,
in 1 year in this guy's presidency. 1 year.
and this stuff happened in less time. But here's a point that I want everybody to get, and I think the general is the one who told me about this initially. If you look at the numbers on how many people were deported during Obama's administration, the numbers are not that much different in the deportation. But what is different is the methodology and the cost.
Mm-hmm.
So President Obama deported people who needed to be deported. And he used no extra resources in the process. wasn't shooting people, wasn't disappearing people, definitely wasn't unaliving anybody.
Wasn't disappearing people.
Right? This guy is building concentration camps throughout the country, large concentration camps. Now, keep in mind also that this nation also incarcerates more people than any other country on the planet.
Right.
And they're stepping that up. Now, these people, they're when they go to these concentration camps, they don't have an expiration date, nor do they get the privilege of counsel, and they lose habeas corpus. So they're just literally snatching people up. And on top of that, you were talking about crypto earlier. These are going to private prisons owned by people who are rich already, getting richer to the tune of about $4 billion a year at the current rate on warehousing human beings. And Brother Barry made a good point earlier. Governor Walz on television was talking about the so-called drawdown, and he says, we want to know what happened to our children. The governor of his state says he wants to know what happened to the children that was snatched by ICE, Border Patrol, and Bureau of Prisons, because that's who's doing this.
Yeah.
And there's some others thrown in too, unfortunately, but that's primarily the folks that's out there declaring war and invading these northern cities. And so it does beg the question. We know that some of these ICE agents and Border Patrol and Bureau of Prison people have been, as Brother Barry says, raping women, raping children, probably raping men too, just hasn't made the news. But they've also been
They had some sexual deviance was on there that was in the boys, without a doubt. I think that's another reason of the redactions. I'm sorry, I had to get that in. Keep going.
Yeah, and they're crushing men's scrotums that are being held in these concentration camps. But he said, the governor of Minnesota says, we want to know what happened to our children. And that part seems to me have been lost in the sauce. Are these people continuing their deviancy with these children because they're going unchecked? We know that some of the people at 45 pardoned because he gave a blanket pardon were sexual assaulters, child molesters, and some of them have been picked up since then, invoking their pardon. But thankfully, a couple of them at least have been convicted because that pardon, there's a date differential. So if people are willing, look, if white people are willing to kill white people, if they're, and we know that they are because they've killed at least 2, and I think it's been a total of 9, then the depravity is in them. Who knows what they're doing? As a matter of fact, whatever we think they're doing more of it, and whatever we know that they're doing, and we know that they're raping, we know that they're assaulting, we know that they're trafficking. This is stuff that's in the news now. Then usually what happens in totalitarian regimes, if they ever end or there's ever any true reporting done, after the fact, you find out that whatever you thought you knew and whatever you knew literally was the tip of the iceberg. And what's coming out of the Epstein files is clearly showing the deviancy of these people. Imagine the deviancy when you can do it with impunity. Imagine the level of deviancy that could take place with that.
And I do want to point this out about our governor, because I don't want to give him too much credit. You could have fought. And I want to say that, because a lot of times black men are, when the Democrats take a L, brothers are always told we're not doing enough. Here's a Democratic elected leader who before all this was talking cash trash to Trump. He did not have to tuck his tail and say, I'm not running again. He should have put his chest out and he should have fought. and he could have fought harder. And you can jump over Minnesota and head right to Illinois and see what Governor Pritzker is doing inside of Illinois. And you could also see what Brandon Johnson is doing right there in Chicago. Those are examples of how to fight and how to use your city and your state laws to fight against ICE. They could have always said that we have a state statute for not wearing masks, and we're going to arrest anybody from ICE if they're wearing masks and trying to detain people in our communities. We're going to put the National Guards out, and instead of saying the National Guard was there to protect buildings, he could have had the National Guard there to protect people. He could have. It's just a difference in
That part.
It's a difference in words. It's a difference in words. They can protect people, but he decided to play it soft. And I want you guys to be mindful. This state, we just had a state elected official murdered by somebody who were dressing up as the police, who had a hit manifesto on other Democratic elected officials in the state. Governor Walz could award Donald Trump's ass out before Christmas if he wanted to, and could have said, ain't no way possible. I'm allowing you to have this happen in my state. We already had an elected official murdered by somebody who's just like these ICE agents, running around with a badge or looking like a cop, not really a cop. And so we're not going to allow that here. And nobody would have balked at that. But what did he do? See, what I worry about, Rodney, is behind the scenes, he kissed the ring and they made deals. And the idea is to talk as if you're winding down and you can have as many as you like. Get them on up out of here. Because that's simply what happens sometimes with anytime melanated people have white allyship. And then you get told later on, oh, we just did it for the betterment of everybody else. Yeah, we know they took another 10,000, 15,000 people out of here, but we did it for the better cause of everybody. So I want to say that about our governor. I do. And I will say this too, white people. It is kind of disrespectful of Amy Klobuchar to hop in the race out of senators from a senator. Because if Governor Walz was going to go and be a part of Kamala Harris's cabinet, Peggy Flanagan, who would have been the first Native American elected as governor, was supposed to be next, not Amy Klobuchar. And up under Katie, under Flanagan, Bobby Joe Champion would have been the next lieutenant governor, which would have been the first African-American lieutenant governor. You take Amy Klobuchar, who said she was only going to run for one term, who ran for 3, who also has a history of locking up black men, the exact same thing these white folks said they was running from Kamala Harris on. Let's see if they bring this up with Klobuchar, because it's true. His brothers who have been exonerated for how she was prosecuting them wrongfully. Okay? And now you're going to put her back as governor. And this is something that's very important for Minnesotans to know. When she is off those committees, because she has seniorship in those committees, once she's off the committees, now the state do not have that advantage of having senior leadership who are sitting on top of the committees. That takes the power of
those assets
back down. You don't get those. There you go. There you go. So I want people to kind of look and understand exactly what's going on here on a political level. Because if you don't understand and you just cheering everything on, you're going to miss out of A, people still being deported and snatched up by ICE, but B, things that could have been prevented by this governor as well as the senator who's trying to take his spot.
Someone's in the behind stage, a name HM. I'm not sure if that person wants to speak or not. I don't want to ignore you, so I wanted to speak and let you know that you're backstage. Right now, you're muted. If you want to speak, just unmute yourself. I'll bring you up. Can't see you. We can just hear you. Okay, so you do want to speak. All right, got you. I'm gonna put you on stage.
No, I
Morning.
come to speak. I'm just not familiar with this app, so I logged in with the link that Rodney sent me. So I'm
No. So you did not want to speak?
no, I
Okay, no
just
problem. I'll
wanted you
put you back on
guys,
mute.
Yeah, Brother Lee, because this
No.
sister, if she wanted to speak, you wouldn't have to ask her.
And we wouldn't have
Mhm.
enough time? Okay, I got you. I got you. Let me see. I'm gonna remove
Hey,
you from
she's
the.
a real warrior.
Okay, got you. Okay, so next thing. Let's again. We want to tick off because we got 30 minutes left. You all weren't around. You all being Rashi and Rodney when we were talking about um, Bondi speaking earlier today. We will not rehash that. The only thing I'll slide in with that is there was a photograph snapped of her dossier, if you will. It was a folder she had, and it was labeled J. Paul search history.
Mhm.
So how about them apples? So now we are spying on
Mhm.
one another, right?
Mhm.
Whatever. All right. The asshole in the room. The other one. Jeremy Carl, my apologies.
Right.
Trump's nominee for the Bureau of International Organization.
Mhm.
Goes to the Hill for his testimony
Mhm.
and repeatedly runs down the idea and ideal of the loss of white culture. Don't know what the hell white culture is because he couldn't define it himself,
Goalpost.
but he kept saying from the high heavens about the loss of white culture and how he was concerned about that. Let me get through this and I'll let you all get in with commentary on the other end. His concern, again, white culture being erased, he was talking about through immigration. He also mentioned examples of white culture being the church. Don't know what the hell that's all about. Pride in the military culture that the Irish and the Scots had. Halftime show, which was not in English, so he was a little bit put off by that. He defined white culture as majority common American culture that we have for some time, that we had for some uh, time through particularly mass immigration, I think has become much more balkanized for you all that don't understand the term because it's not a common word that most people use.
Wasn't the proper use of the
Fragmented.
word
It,
either, I may add.
okay, but fragmented signaling. With respect to a group of people, it signals that the culture is being disintegrated or weakened. And he said that he feels that weakens us. Now, who the hell is us? That I really underline that one. Who is the us that we're talking to? Now, the cross from the senators were so a couple of things. So, are you saying that white folks aren't represented amongst CEOs and millionaires? Well, no. Okay, so are you saying that white folks aren't represented in television and music? Well, no. So, what exactly are you saying? What's the difference between other people's culture and white culture? I'm trying to understand what you're saying. And he had a very tough time doing this. Raskins was on his ass, but y'all can take it. Rodney, go ahead. What you got? I'll let you go first on this. We'll go to Rashi next.
Well, we actually talked about this last night at the gathering because when he talked about everything he mentioned about white culture, then Senator Murphy, that was the one of the people that was asking the questions when they asked him to break it down. He says, "Don't you think that is white people are represented in the Senate? Because if I'm not mistaken, how many black people are there in the Senate? There's only one black Republican in the Senate. How many black Democrats are in the Senate?" So he asked him that. He asked him how many was in the House. He asked him, were white people represented in the governorships in this country? How many black governors are there in this country?
One.
the one that was disinvited to the governor's.
No, don't get ahead of yourself. That's on my list. God dang it.
Okay. And so, but he was but just to show you how he's going down this list, and then finally when he talked about how the music and how that was an issue, and I thought, well, wait a minute, our music is your music because you took it from us. Because the country and Western music that you didn't want Beyonce getting an award from, that you said she was culturally appropriating from white people, y'all culturally appropriated it from us first, because we're the ones who created country and Western. We're the ones who created bluegrass, which is where country and Western comes from. As a matter of fact, Elvis Presley is a white-eyed version of black music and movement. As a matter of fact, he even stole the black guy's voice. So everything
and moves,
voice, dance, lyrics, he basically stole the black guy minus the black guy, right? So and then he talked about the dancing, and it's like, well, the Charleston was invented by black people. As a matter of fact, everything about your culture came from that banjo that you play for that country and Western and bluegrass comes from an African instrument. Sister Rashi knows. I said, so everything about you all is counterfeit and was taken from us. So he said, well, the black churches, they worship differently. Well, last time I checked the Old Testament, which is where the Abrahamic religions come from, they come from a man named Abraham, who was called Abram, who came from where? He came from Africa. So I asked the question at the gathering last night, since he thinks that our religion is somehow interfering with the white religion of Christianity, didn't that religion get created by black people? As all the Moses, wasn't his name Moses, also from Egypt, and Egypt is still in Africa? So everything about that he mentioned came from us. Every last thing. Matter of fact, the number one export of this country is black culture. Number one export of this country. As a matter of fact, that hip hop that used to be rap that they said was destroying this country, that's now they use in advertisements themselves, that they're making a ton of money off of our culture. All of that is us. So in this, the reason why the guy could not answer the question was because it was all a fallacy. It's all a lie. Without us, white people have nothing. As a matter of fact, the rice they eat came from Africa that the African slaves brought, that golden Carolina rice. There's very little that is in this country.
They think the Asians bought it.
Yeah, different strain of rice, right? I'm from the Carolinas. I know about that Carolina golden rice, right? The best rice you can get, because black people are the best, bring the best, always have been the best, because white supremacy is just white inferiority that they cover up with bravado. So,
but I agree with him. I do. I agree with Jeremy.
How so?
I do. I think that they're just fading out. They're fading out. And so what? So what? You're fading out. Yeah, you're right. We don't praise the same at church. You're right. We don't love the same neither. That's true. All of those things are true. The fact of the matter is that's called evolution. Because if you have people who are integrated amongst people, see, white folks at some point was going to have to give up something. That's what it boils down to. This is what it boils down to. Our problem is we don't want to make them stand on the fact of the matter is that white supremacy was always a fallacy to begin with. And that if you really take a look at American culture, and we want to talk about Jeremy and really where his ancestors and people are from, Jeremy probably is from the people that arrived here in 1933. He may not be as American as he think he is. And he may have forgotten the fact that there was many different tongues that were spoken in this country long before his people arrived. And I feel like sometimes That's what's taken away from the conversation. The other side of it is I appreciate Jeremy. I appreciate Jeremy from the aspect that we see that Donald Trump is really trying to put Klansmen inside of his cabinet. And I think that that's the conversation.
More Klansmen.
That he is a white nationalist. He's speaking from a white nationalistic aspect of it. This is what Francis Cress Welsing and Dr. Neely Fuller was talking about. And that white man is afraid of more melanated babies running around here. And that's been their conversation. And so I personally, listening to him talk, I got a chuckle out of it. Because if you think about nature, it's only so many white people in the world to begin with. If you think about nature and you think about the languages, how many people speak English compared to non-English speaking people in the world? If you think about this country in general, the demographics are changing. But the demographics always been changing. White folks always been sickly. Let's be honest. Why can't we just tell the truth? So he's trying to get in so he can somehow, some way put together some eugenics program, because that's really what they're trying to do. They're trying to amp up another eugenics program. That's really what this is about. They want to figure out how to kill more black and brown babies. And I think that we need to stop making these people speak it kindly and speak it plain, because the only way to stop what he wants to happen is you're going to have to kill more black and brown people. And black and brown people need to hear that. Black and brown people need to hear that and wake up. So then we don't have Latinos who think that they are white. That they can understand that no, these people really want to off you, my man. They want you out of here. So we don't have more Somalis talking about their voting. I appreciate the honesty. Somebody, while we were, two things happened while we've been on this stream. First thing is I saw that they put something out that Ed Bannon, is that his name? Ed Bannon? Steve Bannon was working with Epstein. He was working with Epstein to try to take out Pope Francis. Interesting. Right? Whole article. I was reading while Rashi was talking. Second thing, somebody just sent me and said, oh, that white church that they ran into in Minnesota, it's a lot more problems at that church. And I'm like, oh, you think so, huh? You think that this guy was just the director of ICE and the people at the church didn't know who he was? So you're telling me he's the grand wizard of the KKK and his parishioners don't know he's the grand wizard? Who you think go get the wood to burn the crosses? Huh? At some point, Rashi. Come on, Rashi, get in here. At some point, cognitive dissonance.
Hey, man, I was listening to Dick Gregory come back from the grave. He even hit him with the huh? So I said, yeah, huh? I said, get him, Dick.
Look, I was just waiting for huh? That's the Dick Gregory special right there.
I'm just saying, like, I'm listening to it and I'm like, oh, this is who y'all want. We want to appoint this guy.
So they have to. It's him or Charlie Kirk, and they didn't find a animation program for their boy, so they had to go with the one that was still alive.
Come on.
The whole they put a lot of R&D dollars into getting the nigga back, but they couldn't get him back. They couldn't
y'all gonna get us arrested. Y'all don't know what to say out y'all mouths. Y'all gonna get us arrested.
No, she ain't lying though.
So we had to deal with it. They went down the line. One of them, literally, it's probably some pictures of him knee deep in a little girl. So they had to skip. The other one stole the other dude's money in a fucked up, what they call my boy Bertie Madoff type shit. That they skip. And they landed. They landed at the bottom of the hairpiece barrel. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
and so, all I need y'all to know is this. They gonna pull if they have to literally get Trump's son, the little one, the special one, put him in the chair. They gonna do. If they gotta listen, they not gonna give up easy. And I'm so glad, Thomas. Okay. That's what I agree on you on. Thank you for bringing all your riffraff out, all your bleach.
Let us see.
Thank you for bringing them out, because he said, oh my God, please don't put this. Everybody take your recorders off. But he said he was going to drain the swamp He said he was gonna bring all that bullshit out to the light, but and he has, but it's with so that they can support him. So we have to stop looking at it like he doing what he said. He said he was gonna show every single one of them motherfuckers, and I'd be damned if he didn't set it up to where they all in jeopardy. If I was one of them, I'd be trying to hurt the old dude because I would believe that this was a setup. It ain't no way all of us is falling and this one dude is still standing. There's no way we on our way to damn near prison, and this blessed president of God is sitting up in this chair, acting like
She say, "Blessed President of God."
uh
Jesus.
it ain't no way. So I think you know how you it's one of them FBI here implant. You know what I'm saying? Like they did the you
He's a
put the dude
conscript
in there. Yeah, you put a dude in
construct.
there and they say, yeah, him. And then all the whole time he in there doing some sneaky deaky shit. He doing the stuff with you. But you don't, so it make he threw him a curveball. That's the only way. There's no way everybody else is on that's that ass but him.
Hey,
And
Rashi,
he didn't
Rashi,
he
and Rashi, and he's a snitch too. And he's a snitch too.
and he snitched.
Y'all know
He
he,
ain't even
hey, you know he's a snitch. You know he's a snitch. They got him on a phone
so
call with the police in Florida in 2006,
we
snitching on
can
that shit.
guarantee this then. Kirk Mr. Jeremy Mr. Jeremy, you are not. He can't be smart because if you smart and you look at following a dude, you get in the boat with the dude, and before you can even get out the motherfucker, pull the pedals out. Three of the people you was on the boat with us fell in the water, and the dude say they didn't know they wasn't gonna help us. They couldn't swim. And they get some more and they throw them in the boat, and y'all start going out the water, and you see water in the boat, and you say, "Excuse me, sir." You see somebody say, "Excuse me, sir, there's water in the boat," and they throw that motherfucker out the boat, and you say, "Oh shit!" There is no way that after you see that, you say, "You know what? I wonder if it's a seat available on that boat." You dumb, you dumb, and if you
Okay.
hire you, you deserve it.
All right, so we got 13 minutes left. I want to get into the two things: the governor's meeting,
Uh,
and to your point, Thomas, some things happened during the show. I caught the article. I got the notification that Brian Flores' case can move to open court. If you're not familiar, Brian Flores sued the NFL for violating the Rooney Rule. I said Mickey, goddamn, the Romney Rule. Romney Rule. Thank you. Where
Rudy,
they
oh, you
have
gotta Rooney rule.
I was right, Rooney.
Yep.
Thank you. Where they have to um, interview and seriously consider black coaches for coaching positions. Well, he felt he was discriminated against, and he felt he was fired without cause when he coached the Miami Dolphins. This has been going on for years. I think he filed his lawsuit, like 10 years ago, like 2016, somewhere along that line. Um, I'm pulling a lot of this from memory. I didn't write all this down. Anyhow, uh, the NFL obviously wanted to go to arbitration because they could put their thumb on the scale and or could guarantee that the information didn't become public. Judge said nope. Judge Valerie Caproni of the Southern District of New York said nope. He did not agree with the NFL, saying that this needs to go to open court, and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's going to happen, obviously, is the NFL is going to settle because they didn't want this in open court. That's why they were trying to force him through arbitration.
Right.
And that I'm curious though if he allows them to get away with him signing a non-disclosure afterward. I'm curious because they're going to offer him a boatload of money.
Well,
If you weren't paying attention
it's not just him.
even before, it's two others. It's two others to join the lawsuit. Correct. Obviously, he's going to get the most money though. But anyhow, if you've not been following the NFL, they just gave teams a shitload of money for this season as well. The salary cap went high as hell for this season compared to other years, and I knew that this was going to happen. Looking at the salaries per position, a quarterback in the near future is going to make $500 million. They are on the verge right now of a quarterback making $500 million. You got contracts out here for damn near 300 million now.
Mhm.
When this probably not this class, because this class doesn't really have huge caliber quarterbacks, but next year is supposed to be a good crop of kids. 4 or 5 years from now, somebody is going to make $500,000 to play freaking quarterback. Well, you can't pay the quarterback, your blindside guard, tackle, whatever hell you want to list them as.
Mhm.
You can't pay your safety, your wide receivers, and your damn running back, uh, or your edge rusher. You can't pay all those with the current salary cap. It just ain't gonna happen. And these players, understandably, have been requesting more and more and more money. It makes sense because the game is still very much dangerous and it's not a guarantee. It's a young man's game, so I can dig it. Moving on. The governors meeting, Rodney, if you want to get back in, come on. So it's scheduled for February the 20th. It was spoken of, then it was shot down. Trump said he wasn't going to do it. He uninvited all the Democrats from the damn thing. So then the National Government Association chair, Kevin, said, nope, we ain't having it. Then Trump rescinds. He goes, okay, all y'all can come except for two. He uninvited Democratic Governor Wes Moore of Maryland and Jared Polis of Colorado. Moore's crime, other than him being black, is that
Yeah.
Trump accused them of not rebuilding the bridge that was hit by a boat a couple years back. Fast and exactly right. Not understanding again, this dude has no clue about what the fuck his job is. Not understanding that it's going to take federal funds to make that happen. Let's be clear about that. But whatever. Polis's crime was not releasing Tina Peters from prison. Now, Tina Peters, if you don't remember, if you don't recall, is currently serving a 9-year prison term for the crimes that she committed of tampering with voter machines after the 2020 during the 2020 election. So she was convicted of that. And because the governor will not pardon her and allow her to get out of prison, Trump has taken issue with him and moved forward. Again, this dude is stuck on 2020 and it's freaking 2026. Uh, It is what it is. He's a loser, and he hates the fact that he's a loser. He hates the fact that publicly people knows he's a loser. He can be a loser all day privately, but he hates the fact that publicly people know he's a loser, and that's what it's about.
Mm.
Rodney, what do
I mean, Lee, liars lie. Uh, I'm happy that the governors somewhat stood up to him and made him taco. Hopefully, they will continue to stand up to him because that's one of their own. Matter of fact, they don't need him to have a governor's meeting. They can meet without him. So it would actually be to their benefit, and definitely to ours to meet without him. So what about the voter fraud? Isn't that the reason why he's talking about bringing the National Guard, or excuse me, the Border Patrol and ICE to polling locations because of voter fraud? But yet, most of
you
the voter fraud, the documented voter fraud in this country, has been committed by his people. This election, last election, and the election before that. The two people that usually get caught up every year for or every election cycle for voter fraud are ours or now ends. So all of this is a charade that we shouldn't keep falling for the okie doke and call it for what it is.
Rashi, what you got? We got 6 minutes left. What you got, sis?
I want to make. I'm going to segue because we have beat. That's taco meat. We have beat that horse. I'm going to segue over to the fact that this is Black History Month, You know that they gave us the short month, so we got to act like we care. If you really care, it's actually uncontainable to a month. But let's move. If you have children in your life, start with the month. Make sure that you are uh, big up in within your family structure, everyday conversations. Some of the good things that Black people and the descendants of Africans and whatnot have created and done over time, uh, since the beginning of time, since we conceived the idea that there is something called time. Uh, there's a lot we need to work out with between us, and I do believe acknowledging the fact that we are an us, we're an us, we're a we, and when we do that, we have to acknowledge that within us that has been great and maybe even a little bit scary, because they go hand in hand when you talk about a Malcolm X or stuff like so. Please make sure that you are talking to someone and learning for yourself about an accolade, both interpersonally and globally, that Black people are doing out here in the world. For all you listeners, you got homework. So please, I'll be you'll turn it in next Saturday. All right.
Cool. Thomas, what you got?
Well, happy birthday to me, first and
Oh,
foremost.
dang, I forgot to say that. And
Oh,
happy
yeah.
birthday, Rick. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. And if you're out there listening, if you want to do anything for my birthday, go to the watchapp.org and download the app, become a watchful citizen, and get down with the cause. Lastly, if you are, this is my new take on Black folk in America and politics and power. It's going to take us regenerating Black families in order to really get the power. We have to kind of step back from politics and focus on family, economics, education, and then reintroduce ourselves back into politics. And the reason being is because nothing works without it. And if you can't have a person that you can be committed to, I can't find a cause that you'll be committed for neither. And so that's my take on it. I've seen how other people are building what they're building in my town as far as the immigrant group. And the family structure is one of the things that they put forth first. Then they start focusing on their businesses. Then they focuses on their schools. And then they focus on politics. And they are not missing after they do it in those steps. And we can do the exact same thing.
Look, y'all. It's taking me longer to recover from these damn weekend excursions, especially when I go to the left coast. But I'm gonna keep doing them because that's what I do. And to be honest with you, not to blow your head up, whenever I get an opportunity or some actual time spent with Rodney is always a good thing. I'm not a spring chicken like I used to anymore, and pretty soon I may not remember that young man's name. So I gotta spend as much time with him as possible before that day comes and hits. So it took me quite a lot longer this week to recoup and recover. Not gonna lie at all. My ass was done till Wednesday, Thursday, to be honest with you. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, to be honest with you. But it's always worth it. So I look forward to it. And whenever I can get out there like I did to be a part of the gathering, it's even better. You know, it's nice to. I hope it's nice to have that fresh blood in someone from the outside taking a look, so I can come back and report to you what I'm thinking and what I'm seeing. So that's what's up. Uh, for those of us whom are with other or not, today is a very stressful day, as I started the show with, just by being a man, because she won every damn thing and ain't giving up nothing, but that's a different story for a different time. If you are single, solo, dolo, it's difficult to find some damn place to eat because every goddamn body booed up and you sitting around like, it's bullshit. But where my boo at? I'm trying to get blued up too. You know what I mean? But then they do things like call you 50 million times in a day and ask you for all your time, all the damn time. It's like, look, I got to get out here and work and make some money so I can pay these bills. I can't be in two places at one time. If you're thinking lonely now. wait until tonight. Anyhow, do your best, fellas. Please, ladies, chip in a little. Uh, some things are always appreciated. Some things you can use your head and think about those things that I'm talking about. Anyhow,
Did you
y'all
say
be
head?
good. Y'all be safe. Happy birthday, Brother Barry. Until next week, family. If ain't nobody told you they love you, we do. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it.